Hello soap lovers, this is Ariane from La Fille de la Mer, handmade soap shop in the Madeleine Islands, Quebec, Canada. Today I'm going to be making my raspberry and calendula melt and pour soap. It's melt and pour season mostly for me right now, and let me show you how I work. So right here I have my melt and pour melting tanks. So these are temperature controlled melting tanks, so I know this will never boil and never overheat, and it keeps my melt and pour at a temperature that I can work with, not too hot, not too cold. And then right here are my stainless steel melt and pour molds. These have been custom made for me, so you can't get this exact size, but you can find them at a company called Soap Equipment, and their website is soapequipment.com. Alright, now I will turn you over again and to my countertop. So here is some melt and pour soap that I made yesterday. It has calendula flowers through it and just a little bit of yellow lab color. And what I do, I take a cheese slicer and I just pull towards me to make some swirls. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of put one stick at the end and one on the sides. My molds are 24 inches long, so I get to put two to fill the length of one mold. And then I'm going to need more to fill the molds because I'm not only putting one, I'm adding a couple swirls. So I'll be right back and add some more. What's great about these melting tanks is that when you are ready to make your soap, you just open the valve and fill up your stock pot. Okay, so when making this soap, what will go in here, to color I'm using diluted red lab color. I'm also going to put some calendula petals. I have 3 grams for one batch. I'm also going to have 5 grams of lanolin and 5 grams of wheat germ oil. This is about a teaspoon of each. I add 1 teaspoon per batch. So this is like 5 grams of diluted lab color. You can see it gives a nice pink color. Then I'm going to add my wheat germ oil. And finally, my lanolin. I also add a little bit of white mica to my base, and this is like not even a gram. So this will add a little shimmer to the soap. And also, here is my blue raspberry fragrance oil. I'm adding 2% to my recipe. So, there we go. And now let's just mix this. I usually pour my soap at around that temperature, 134, 135, 36. Never higher than that, because that will melt the embeds that I've previously made, and you don't want to ruin all this hard work. But just because I pour at 135 doesn't mean that you should, because every melt and pour soap base has a different melting point. So make sure, if you want to do this technique, that you check with your supplier for the melting point of your melt and pour base. So first I spritz some rubbing alcohol on my embeds, because this will help the two different kinds of soap to adhere together. I kind of drizzle a little bit of the melt and pour on my embeds on the sides of the mold and let it harden up, because for some reason my goat's milk melt and pour soap base floats on top of the clear. So if I want my embeds to stay at the bottom and not all rise up to the top, well, you need to kind of stick and hold them down, otherwise they'll just come right up. Spritz the bubbles, and then I tap, because some air bubbles sometimes get trapped in the swirls. Okay, let's do the other one. Oops. That was kind of falling off of the table there. And this embed has been pushed out, so I'm going to push it back in the swirls there. And I'm going to fill this to the top. And I will be back to unmold these later, probably tomorrow. I just wanted to show you how easy it is to clean up a melt and pour stock pot. You just let it sit for about, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, and it will kind of firm up. And then usually I just take a knife and just cut it a little bit to remove it. Oops, sorry. Okay, so I'm just gonna peel the side and then just peel off see how easy it is. Now it's not totally firmed up here, so I'm just gonna wait a little more, and then when it in about 2-3 minutes, I guess it'll be okay, and then I'll just peel it right off. And that's it. And then you just have to rinse with hot water, and you're ready to make another batch. Hi, so we're back with the raspberry melt and pour soaps this morning. They've hardened up for about 20 to 24 hours, and I'm gonna show you how easy it is to unmold with these stainless steel molds. And then I also made some cucumber extract melt and pour soaps. It's a goat's milk base, that's why it's white. And I've made a video about those last year, so if you want to see how these are made, go back in the video. I'll try to add the link below. So let's unmold these soaps. Now that I have removed one end, I will move the soaps to the other table as I will have more room to unmold. If you want to take a closer look, you can actually see through the clear melt and pour that the swirls are inside. So let's put them. When I'm done removing the soaps from the molds, I just need to trim the ends because there's little pieces of soap that went into the endings of the mold. So I just take my little utility knife and just trim it off. I'm gonna put my soap right on my countertop. I traced a line here, and from the side, let me show you. So from the side here of my counter to this line is exactly 12 inch, and since my molds are 24 inches long, I know that when I cut my brick in half, I'm exactly at the middle of my loaf. And I cut them in half because it's easier to handle and to carry in 12-inch bricks than in 24 inches bricks. And also, I love the knife that I'm using right now. It's a double handle Victorinox. I think it's actually meant for cheese. See, it's got one handle at both ends. And I got this knife about 11 years ago when I just started making soap. And I bought it in a kitchen supply store that carried Victorinox. That's all I can tell you because I don't remember where I got it. I know that it was in Montreal and that it was on a street called Saint Laurent, but that's all I remember. I couldn't even go back there myself if I wanted to, so don't break the knife. And see the pretty swirls. And here. Ta-da! Okay, so when I wrap my melt and pour, every time you make a brick you need to wrap it in plastic film, otherwise it'll attract moisture and get sweaty. So as soon as I unmold and cut my loaves, there we go. Oops, this one's already wrapped. I really hope you enjoyed watching this melt and pour video. If you did, please comment below and let me know if you'd like to see more, because I make melt and pour all summer long, so I could show you other tips and tricks. And for the ones who like to purchase my soaps, I will have a transactional website, like a web store soon, and those soaps will all be available online. And if you would like to know how the soaps you're buying are made, comment below, and this will give me a good idea to see if I should make more videos on melt and pour, because mostly I do cold processed soap making videos, and I think there may be a few of you out there who actually also enjoy making melt and pour. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.